Bhanu has over 10 years of experience in the education industry and has helped thousands of students fulfill their dreams for higher education. He also has exposure working in multiple countries and with multiple industries. Now, before we dive into the presentation, let me go over some ground rules. All attendees will be in listen-only mode during the course of the webinar. If you have any questions during the presentation or after the presentation, please put the questions in the question box and they will be addressed during the course of the presentation or after the presentation. So without any delay, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Bhanu Kaushik. Sir, all yours.
All right. Thank you, Vamsi. Good evening to all the webinar people who are sitting there and listening to me. Thank you for coming down. I know it's 6 o'clock, and I will try to do my level best to give you the best information about employability. Now, I understand this is a big question when when you're planning to study abroad. The first thing that will come down to your mind is whether studying abroad is good enough, because if we are investing so much amount of money, what kind of return on investment that we will get, whether we will get some kind of what kind of jobs we will get, what kind of sectors we can target, what kind of employers. So today I'm here to answer all the questions. Vamsi has given a bit of brief about myself. Let me also add a few things to what he has said. Take me as your friend and as your guide for today. And I have been an international student myself long years back. Probably my hairline was here at that point of time. And I have lived all the questions which are there in your mind when it comes to studying abroad and finding employability abroad. And so I would try to do my level best to give you all the best answers. Other than answering questions related to matrimony, I think I can answer most of the questions. Okay. To start my presentation, I'm not going to make it a very boring one. So I'm going to make it a bit interesting one for you. So I have divided my presentation into 1 or 2 and 3 parts. So the first part would be related to skills. Second part would be related to, about the sectors in the UK, Brexit, effect on India and Indian students and UK economy, what kind of companies, what kind of performances. And third is how to find jobs and what are the tier 2 visas, compliance, and how do we go about it. So without wasting time, before we start, Vamsi, can we have our first poll as well, please, man? So my first poll to all of you is, how many of you would like to come and how many of you would like to have an international career? Can you please put your opinion so that we can get an idea?
Okay, poll has been done. We have 100% have said yes. Just for feedback.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm glad to see that. That's interesting. So to start with, in my opinion, to get a job internationally, whether you want to work in the UK or around the world, you basically need 3 things. Finding a job in the UK. So what do you need? You need 3 things. Number 1, you need the right skills. Number 2, you need an employer who can recognize these right skills. And number 3, you need work visa. So if you have these 3 combination, you can find job anywhere in the world, not just in the UK. So let's start with the point, the right skills. So in my opinion, right skills can be defined in majorly into 2 aspects. One is, or 3 aspects. One is the academic skills. The other one is your practical skills, and the third one is your soft skills. So what are employability skills? So if you can see on my screen, so these are basically the 3 types of skills that I just spoke about. That it is actually academic skills, practical skills, and your soft skills. So most of the employers, when you're talking about skills, worldwide. So they look at, sorry for a minute, I'm just trying to, I'm from Stone Age, so you have to excuse my bit of here and there. So when it comes to employability skills, these are some of the top skills that you should always try to get, whatever course that you're trying to do. So employability skills are teamwork, business and customer awareness, problem solving skills and creativity, communication and literacy, very important, application in numeracy, how your aptitude is, IT skills, positive attitude, and entrepreneurship. So if you have a mix of all these things, probably you have a better edge in finding or convincing an employer. Now, all these skills, you can find it in the respective course that you plan to go and do it in the UK. Okay. So whether you're studying engineering or whether you're studying automotive, whether you're studying engineering, whether you're studying finance, hospitality, you're studying fashion, you're studying music, whatever you're trying to do, all that you need to is keep in mind all these skills as well when you're learning all those things. Okay. Why do you need them? So of course, important factor considering the recruitment gadgets, so these are the skills which are required by the employers. So I have kind of made a small slide on this, what type of skills in terms of their weightage when employers are looking for them, so the top skills that they are looking at is team and problem solving skills is around 78%, your positive attitude is 72%, relevant work experience or industrial placement. So try to find a course which can give you an industrial placement or try to give you a project based learning. So if you do that, that is also advantageous to you. Your course curriculum, the kind of courses that you're planning to do, your degree result, the university that you attend, and if you can speak multiple languages. Now, Indian student definitely have an edge when it comes to language and communication, because when it comes to working in the UK, UK is the Mecca of English language, and most of the Indian students are quite fluent with them. So you're always better than a Chinese student or a Polish student or a French or an Italian. So your advantage is also language. Plus, you can also speak multiple languages. Most of you are from different parts of India, so I'm sure all of you would be able to speak more than 2 or 3 languages in India. So if you have all these skills, you have a strong chance to get placements in the UK. Then the third thing is that we understand we need these skills, but at the same time, some of them at times we are not able to demonstrate these skills. What I have noticed in the past, and it is also a common problem with most of the Indian students, that the Indian student might know this much, but at the end of the day, they might express very little, whereas a British student might know very little, but he would have the capacity to express it much better than an Indian student. So it is always better when you go abroad, try to get all these kinds of skills. So I would show you the weak areas where most of the Indian students lack. So they definitely, some of the IT skills are okay. So it is around 49. Application of numeracy is around 30. Team working skills is 19. Problem solving is around 16%. And communication is 31. Self-management 14. And business customer awareness is 8%. So these are some of the things which you should keep in mind. Okay, so I'm moving to the next slide, which is how to enhance your employability skills. So there are loads of ways to enhance it. First of all, your foremost tool to impress an employer is your resume. So whichever university that you're planning to go and study in the UK, all of them would have a career office. So as an international student, what you should do is that you should go to these career offices and ask them to help you develop your interview skills. Ask them to help you develop make a better resume for you. They should also be in a position to tell you how to apply for good jobs. So once you have all these opportunities, these kinds of things, when you engage with them, so you improve your opportunities to get jobs in the UK. The second point is whether you want to practice. So when I've already covered in my first point is that you should go and talk to the university career offices to practice for your interview skills. At times, Indian students, they have everything, as I said, but they're a bit shy in nature. And whenever they see a white person taking an interview, they get a bit nervous as well. Now most of you might not have that sort of a thing, but I've seen in the past that some of the students have that sort of a weakness when they see it. So you need to go and practice all these things with the help of the career office, and most of the universities would do that. The third thing to improve your employability skills is whatever type of course that you're planning to do, I would suggest you to also engage in a program where they do projects or they do internships. Now, these projects could be, or these internships could be with industry. Now, this is like a trailer before going to the actual film. So when you go to for an internship, this will tell you what are the do's and don'ts of working in the UK, or how it will give you knowledge about cultural knowledge about working in the UK. It will give you knowledge about teamwork. It will give you knowledge about problem solving, creativity, and at the end of the day, you also earn in it. So this is also a good option to do it. Or study abroad option. So probably most of the programs when you're studying, whether you're studying an undergraduate or a postgraduate, most of the time you also get an opportunity to move abroad during the course. Try to meet and mingle up with a lot of people and learn different culture. It improves your confidence, it improves your knowledge, and it makes you a friendlier person. So when you have all these skills, you would be, I think, in a much more better position to get employability. Now, an employer, most of the things are changing around the world now. Technology has changed the overall game of employability. Even if you are looking for an HR job, or if you want to do a course in human resource, the human resource manager, now most of the things are done by software. He's only left to hiring and firing. So you can see that because most of the things are done by technology. So most of the things, if you see, are changing at around the world. But at the same time, you have few things which you should keep in mind when you're looking for a right employer, is that you should have the right skill. Wherever country, whichever course that you plan to do, you should look at the economic condition of the country. Identify, this is very key thing when you're looking for employment, is that identify the key shortage area. We will talk about this in length in my next slide, and areas where there are plenty of jobs. So for example, if you have an option to study in India, I'm sure you would not like to go and study in a place where there are less number of companies. For example, Kanyakumari, or maybe Nagaland, or maybe Jammu Kashmir. It might be a beautiful place, but you will always like to stuck and sit and study in a place like Mumbai, Delhi, or a metropolitan, or Bangalore or Hyderabad, where there are loads of employers. So similarly, you need to also find the best place to work in as well. And second, and last and not the least, is being active from now onward. So what you should do is that you should try to study as much as possible about the British culture, about the business economies in the businesses in the UK. Try to read about the cities, the cultural knowledge, and and try to learn as much as you can, and then move forward from there. Okay, Vamsi, can we run our second poll if possible, please? The
Yes,
second
Mr.
poll is
Bhanu.
about, yeah. The second poll is about what percentage of Indian national do you guys think have got work visas in the UK in the past?
Okay, Mr. Bhanu, we are getting 93% responses we have received so far. Looking at the responses, 12 for answer number one, 10%, 12% have said. For 20%, we have 33% have said yes. For 40%, 38% have said yes. For 50% plus, 17% have only said yes to it.
All right, I must congratulate the 17% who have said 50%. In my next slide, I would like to show you something very interesting. Now, for all of you, this should be quite motivational. So last year, if you look at my screen, the total number of visas issued by the British government worldwide, not just to India, worldwide were 93,566. Out of these 93,566 work visas, 53,863 work visas were only issued to Indian nationals, which makes 58% of the total work visas issued by the UK, which puts India as #1 destination for UK when it comes to allotting work visa. Second to us was America, only 9,000. I will show it to you later on after the presentation how I got to these figures. You can even Google this. Just write on Google how many work visas were issued, and you will read loads of things that Indian nationals secured the maximum number of work visas. Secondly, Vamsi, can you also do our third poll, please?
Yes, give me 1 minute.
The third poll is best country. Which is the best country for doing business in the world?
So majority of the students have opted for UK. So we're closing the poll.
I think they are smart kids. Because in my previous slide, I've kind of given them a cheat note over here, which says that UK is the best country for doing business according to Forbes 2017. Now, some of you would have a question on the Brexit effect. So Brexit is when the UK government moved out, made a decision to move out of Europe. So that term is called Brexit, UK exiting Europe. And I'm sure you must have read it in the newspapers, and at times there are questions asked that how is going to be my fate if I go post Brexit decision. So Brexit decision was made in 2016, and immediately after that, in 2017 and 18, UK was nominated as the best country for doing business according to the Forbes 2017. You can still Google it, and in fact, if I can exit from this presentation, and I can show you the Forbes magazine cover, which says best countries for business. That will rate, and it says around UK is the best country for doing business. Their GDP growth is 1.8. Per capita income is 39,900 dollars, which is good. Second is New Zealand. Third is Netherlands. Fourth is Sweden, Canada, Hong Kong, Denmark. So which puts us one of the best English-speaking countries in the world for business. So I think this is a good eye opener for most of the students who are planning to come down and study with us now in the UK. Okay, so getting back to the slide again. So sectors which have shown growth. So in the past, last year, some of the sectors which have shown massive growth in the UK are information technology, professional, scientific, and technical activities. So if you are from STEM background, which means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, you are in good shape as well. And financial and insurance activities, 12%. So these are all the sectors have registered growth, but these are some of the major sectors which I've just put in for your information, just to show you that there is growth happening in that economy. Okay. Uh, this slide is quite interesting, and I think most of you would like to read and see this. These are the hottest recruitment sectors in 2017 in the UK. Okay, so which are the top? If I can put that. So manufacturing industry was one of the top ones. Then if you can see, construction in the UK is again the top one. I'm going to take them one by one later on. Around, if you talk about information and communication industry, 23,000 jobs in the UK, given on a given month. And then you are talking about industry as well. Financial sectors remain still the top. I've not put it in over there. UK is the world's financial capital. You name a business, big or small, would have a presence in the UK. What I've also done is I've also made a slide which gives you the salary packages, what an average salary of people when they graduate or in particular sector they get. Let's say, for example, manufacturing. Manufacturing, if you see, is around, people get around £30,000 average salary for people working in manufacturing area. Average salary for people working in IT is around 49,000 in the UK. Average salary for people working in energy sector is around 40,000. Sorry, 40,000. Average salary for people working in marketing and business area is around 38,000. Average salary for people working in engineering is around 36, and average salary for people working in retail and other businesses around 27,000 pounds. I think this is a good amount of figures which will boost your confidence when you're planning to study abroad, because most of us would like to see, this is one life and we would like to make best of it. So if I'm working for 8 hours, I should be putting my 8 hours in a place where I can get, good opportunities, and I can have a decent living onwards from there. So if you're planning to study abroad, these figures should motivate you. On the right hand side of the screen, if you'll see, the Royal Academy of Engineers. So if we have engineers over here, it's a good news for them that sorry. So according to the Royal Academy of Engineers, there is a shortage of 1.8 million engineers across UK. So if you're an engineer, if you're a IT guy, if you're an electronics engineer, if you're a mechanical engineer, automotive engineer, there is an acute shortage of skilled people in the UK. And this is not me, this is Royal Academy of Engineering figures. But then they need people with right skills. So if you have the right skills, you will have the right job as well. At any given point of time, there are 78,467 engineering roles are advertised in a given month for engineering alone. So if you look at IT, 57,000 IT developer jobs are advertised online each month with a package of 43,000. Nursing, there's an acute shortage. So if you're a health professional, you are again in the shortage category. Whether you're a doctor, nurse, physiotherapist, or any allied health related professional, there is an acute shortage in the UK at the moment. Then if you talk about if you look at sales job, then sales jobs are, again, there are 21,000 jobs available advertised every month with an average salary of 39,000. Even if you're a teacher, for teaching jobs, you have loads of things as well available in the UK as well. There are 40,000 teaching jobs available in the UK at given point of time. So these are good figures. I think this should motivate you when you're studying abroad. As you can see, the maximum number of work visas were issued to Indians only, and most of you would be surprised to know that Tata company, the Indian company, is one of the biggest employer in the UK. If I can escape this presentation and probably take you to TCS website. Now, this is not my website. This is Tata Consultancy website. And if you see, TCS recognized as UK's top employer. So now, if you are an IT professional, or if you're a human resource professional, or if you're a marketing person and all those stuff, TCS employs everybody. So there's a need for everybody. But if you're an IT person, it's better to contact TCS as well. They have an office in London. Plus, they have not just in London, but they have offices 30 places in the UK, and they employ over 11,000 people across UK. So I'm not going to get you into more details. You can search it yourself, and you will find that this is a good piece of information and quite motivating piece of information as well. Okay, I'm taking you to some sector-wise briefer. Construction if you look at, there are 12,045 job roles. Job roles are like, could be loads. So whether they want a project manager, they want an engineer, they want a supplier, or they want a purchase manager, or they want a human resource guy. So there are job roles, means there are 12,045 job roles are advertised only in construction, and this was done in last March 2017. The average salary for construction job have gone up by 11%. So if you look at this figure, which is 5,000, it says that they need at the moment 500,000 new recruits in next 5 years in the construction sector. So if you're targeting as a student, whether you are a business professional, whether you're an IT professional, or you are a civil engineer, or any kind of a professional, and if you can target these construction sector as well. There are loads of jobs available in construction sector. The second sector, which is also quite interesting in the UK, is manufacturing. So people thought that Brexit has going to be putting the UK economy down. A lot of economic pundits. I myself have been a student of finance and economics, and so there was a prediction by all the economics that after Brexit there would be. So most of the economists were actually writing an obituary for UK economy. But then you will be surprised to know that UK economy has shown growth post Brexit decision. So if you read this line that which was released by CV Library, which says that the average number of jobs in the UK key sector in 2016 and manufacturing was up by 26%. So manufacturing have gone up, and the reason is because the pound rate was gone down. So because of that, the local manufacturer were able to import things and do it in a much more better way. So again, if you look at UK is world's ninth largest industrial nation when it comes to exporting goods, and which is again up by 10%. So if you're into the manufacturing sector, the average salary you can target is £30,800, and there are many job roles available in this sector as well. So very good sector if you are targeting manufacturing area. Now when it comes to engineering, now UK engineering has been one of the, so UK started as an, their engineering started from industrial revolution 2 centuries back. So till date UK engineering is one of the top ones in the world, and still in 2017 it is showing growth after year by year growth. Every month 78,476 engineering roles are advertised online. The average salary of an engineer in the UK is around £36,000, which is up by £1,000 if you compare it from last year. I've already told you that there's a shortage of around 1.8 million engineers in the UK. Research conducted by Engineering UK suggests that around 182,000 additional workers are needed every year until 2022. So I don't think so I can suggest you more, if you are an engineering background student, that what kind of workforce is required every year according to the Royal Academy of Engineers. So these are some good motivational facts that you should study and find your place in the UK. The most famous engineers, I've also given names of some of the institutes and all the stuff. So they've also given an employers over here, which I can share you later on as well. Aerospace industry in the UK is the fourth largest industry in the world and third largest in Europe, with a global market share of around 6.4%. In 2013, the industry employed 84,000. Now, this is one of the largest sectors in the UK. So aerospace does not mean that you have to be an aerospace engineer only. So it means that you can aerospace. If you come down to London, London got 6 airports. I don't know if there's any city in the world which got more than 6 airports. So if you look at the kind of, because London is one of the cities, or UK is one of the most traveled destination. So the aerospace industry is quite big. So some of the top companies, British companies in the aerospace area are BE Systems, which is world third largest defense contractor, Brighton Norman, Cobham, GKN, Hybrid Air Vehicles, and Rolls-Royce, which is the world's second largest maker of defense aerospace aero engines and ultra electronic engines in the world. So these are some of the top companies which are actually UK startups long years back, and now they're ruling the world in the aerospace sector. So foreign companies also include like Boeing, Bombardier, Airbus. So you name a company, probably would have a presence in the UK. Okay. Then in the automotive sector, it is again one of the crucial sectors in the UK, where UK is the home of some of the top brand names in the world. So you talk about Aston Martin, Bentley, Daimler, Jaguar Land Rover, McLaren, MG, Mini Cooper, Morgan, Rolls Royce. So these are some of the top companies in the world. These are some of the top companies in the world which are UK based. Other than this, you will also have loads of other companies like Nissan Motor, Toyota, Vauxhall Motor, and all those stuff. So they are all based in the UK, and they generate a lot of employment. So whether you want to get into the sales job, whether you want to get into the operation management, whether you want to get into manufacturing, so automotive sector you can also target in the UK when you're looking for a job. So these are some. I'm covering few sectors in this, but then I'm sure you will have an idea how to target sectors. Looking at their performances. So if you're a student, so you target the sector as well. Vamsi, is there any question which I can take on automotive or this thing?
We have a lot of questions coming up. So, should I start from beginning? Couple of questions that have been raised by the students.
Okay.
Okay. Won't the domestic student be given more preference than an international student? Is one of the questions raised by by one of our students over here.
Well, when it comes to jobs, this is a good question. I must appreciate your question first. Well, definitely, it makes more easy, for a person of the same country to get a job in the same country as well. But usually, what happens is that employers are not like that. Employers want profitability, so they always look for the brightest talent. UK is not a country, to be honest, where you go and do a course and you are flipping burgers in McDonald's. So UK is a country where you do a course, get the right skills, and these skills you can go and impress an employer. So if you are able to impress an employer, it doesn't matter whether you are whether you are a British national or you are an international national. It doesn't matter. What matters at the end of the day is the skill. Now if you look at British football teams, or if you look at English Premier Leagues or all these players, so they come from different nationalities. If you look at England cricket team, I'm sure India is a cricket loving nation, and if you look at the England cricket team, and so you'll find players from different nationality even representing them. So in the UK, people they like your talent. It's not about the origin of your country, and that is the reason I would suggest that you should do a course and come down to UK as well. I hope that answers the question well, Vamsi. What do you think? Hello? Hello?
Thank you, Mr. Banu.
Yeah.
Next question the students are asking is that will the type of university, meaning the ranking of the university or the heritage of the university, affect how much of salary packages will they draw?
Oh, that's again a good question. I because I was thinking that probably because the thing is on employability, but I think the ranking of the university, there are millions of rankings. So to be honest, personally, I myself do not rely on ranking alone, because today you go to a university which is 10th ranked. By the time you graduate, there is no guarantee that it will not be 30th rank. So the whole purpose of looking at the university through ranking lens can be futile. Or the other way to look at is that you're going to the 10th ranked university, but if you look at if you if, but then in that case you should be applying to top 10, get rejected from 9, and then go to the 10th one. It makes more logic. But how many of us do that? None. So it's always good to look at the factors when you go to and you speak to the university. Ask them about their employability rate. Now, it's coincidental, but that if you look at my university, it is around 96% employability rate. So you should go and ask the university about the employability rate. Now, certain universities, definitely their aim is to help you out, but then employability rate is the best factor to choose a university. When it comes to salary, there are loads of links which I, because this is an employability one, not on the university one, but there are loads of websites. I can share it to you later on if you can, send me your emails personally. I'll share you my email ID, and I can share you links where you can actually look at this average graduate salaries of all the universities. So if you write on Google itself, average salaries of UK graduates from the universities, you will get into a lot of data where you can see what is the average salary of a graduate. For example, most of the universities would have an average salary about £20,000 and above. My university, I am not, trying to promote it. I'm not a very good, marketing person, but my university average salary is around £25,000. So whether you're an undergraduate student or a postgraduate student, you can be assured that you will be targeting more than this on this. So you should look at the average salaries of the universities and choose your place as well for study. It's a good tool to do it rather than ranking. I will agree to it. All right, Vamsi.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Banu. Next question the students are asking is that will age affect the employability rate? If I'm older than 25, will my chance of getting employment is going to be lowered?
No, I would say age is a number. It doesn't matter. So if whether you are a fresher graduate, you want to make a new move in the life, or you are an experienced person, or you have been studying for a long time, age is not the criteria when it comes to finding jobs. Now, of course, there are certain professions where this could be a factor, but in 90% of the sectors around, I don't think so. Age is a big factor when it finds a job. The right candidate, to be honest, it is simple to, if you're good, you are in. So it doesn't matter how old you are. So at times I see that a guy who's most experienced, a young chap comes down and takes his job. It's practically it should be like, the most experienced guy should have the job, but at times a fresher comes down and takes the job. Or at times when you see that they're looking for a fresher, but then the employers thinks that, no, the freshers that I'm getting on this day are not good. Now let me try somebody experienced. So that could be your day as well. So age is not a number. If you're good, you're in. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Banu. Next question. I have a little bit of students are asking some subject domain specific queries, that what are the odds of these particular subjects and to get into and settle down opportunities are there. So we have questions for communication and public relation. How are the odds of getting employment? That is one. If you can address it. Then we have for lawyers and accountants, aerospace, civil engineering, medical domain. So these are the kind of questions students are asking now, specific to their interest.
Right, specific. To be honest, I'm gonna be present in the SIUK events. In the upcoming SIUK events in all the cities. So if you guys are around, I will be more comfortable meeting you in person and taking these questions. But since you've asked this question, I can put it like, for example, public relations. Now, public relation is a good program. I think if you're looking for a job, UK and especially London. So if you're looking for that sort of a thing, public relation is a specific area program. So try to place yourself in a city where there are maximum number of companies. So public relation, there are good opportunities in those areas. When it comes to law, Indian law is based on the UK law, and UK, I would say, is the Makkah of law. So the whole westernized law that we follow around the world, started by UK. Even the Indian law, if you talk about Indian Penal Code, IPC or CRPC or Evidence Act, these all laws have been defined by and designed by Britishers long back. Even customs and excise act in India was defined long back. So when you come down to the UK, you are coming down in the right place where you will learn from one of the best ones. But then when you come down and do a course for LLM, or you're planning to do a course LLB, also it is good to find out whether the university that you're going to is recognized by Bar Council India or not. Most of the universities in the UK are recognized by their own bar council or solicitor regulatory authorities. But then it is also good to find out how many universities are also recognized by Bar Council India. So probably if you want to come down at some point of time to India, your degree should be valid to work over here as well. Okay. When it comes to aerospace, I've already spoken about aerospace. I think that should motivate them, that UK has a strong aerospace when it comes to aerospace in the world. So they're the fourth largest in the world and third largest in Europe. When it comes to automotive, it's again British engineering qualifications makes you work in some of the top companies: Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Jaguar Land Rover. So these are some of the top names. British engineering is known for the engine techniques. So when you from an aircraft or to making a small motor or running a car, and a British engine is required everywhere, and you will find an impact on that. So if you are in these areas, you are already in the shortage category as well. So you will have an excellent opportunity if you have the right skills. I am emphasizing again, right skills. Now, Vamsi, if you note, to be honest, how many of the students who are actually present on this webinar can keep their hand on their heart and tell me honestly? I think we should run a poll on it, that they remember what they have studied in the first degree. That means in bachelor's, all the subjects what they remember. So most of the time you will see the answer is no from a student. The reason is because in India the system is you mug up things and you write exams and then you forget it. So if you're looking to work in Ferrari and you want to design a car which is for 300 kilometers per hour, and the interviewer is asking you what is the speed of sound, and you have done mechanical engineering in India, and if you can't answer that question, you won't get a job. So that is why I'm saying putting emphasis again back on skills. So get the right skills. Where do you get these skills? You get it in a university, and these skills should be both theory based and practice based. In India, most of you have studied generally theory based programs, and that is why, because it's more theoretical, lack of infrastructure, or you would say lack of quality faculty, you are not able to retain what you have studied at times. So keep all these things in mind and do that. I think that answers all 3-4 questions that you've asked, Vamsi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Banu. Next question the students are asking is that for part-time jobs.
All right. Okay.
We have a lot of questions
jobs.
coming in.
Should I completely finish this presentation and take them to all the questions?
I would recommend that we completely finish the presentation and address the queries and as fast as possible.
All right. Yeah. Because some of the things which I'm going to cover, I think that will give them some motivation as well. Okay. All right. I'm continuing with this. Then you keep collecting questions. People keep shooting questions, and I will try my level best, to answer all of them in the best possible way. Okay. So my next slide is on the financial sector. As I said, UK is one of the, sorry, just a minute. As I said, that UK is one of the top financial sectors in the world. So the average salary in the financial sectors, if you are a trainee, it starts from 22,000 to 30,000 pounds. Financial advisors get close to around 60,000 pounds. Wealth managers and private client advisor, it's around 100,000 pounds as well. London is world's financial capital. You name a big business, small business, business organization, banking company, you will find its presence over there. Pound is the most valued currency in the world right now. I heard it's around 90 rupees. It got the third largest reserves as well. Okay, so I'm moving down to some of the financial companies. So which are the top companies which you can target when you're into the financial sector? Deloitte, EY, KPMG, PwC, UK retail banks. So these are some of the top banks in the world. If you look at UK insurance companies, so these are some of the top companies like Admiral, Aviva, Prudential, RSA Group. And if you look at large companies with investment banking, again, Barclays is one of the largest one. Citibank, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, Stanley, and Goldman Sachs. So these are some of the top companies with largest presence in the UK. Again, if you look at the UK financial services market, by the way, the total GDP of the UK economy is the financial sector contributes 7.5%. And if you look at the global share of the UK market is around 37% on that, so which is largest in the world. So the financial sectors are, of course, one of the backbone of the UK economy. So if you are into the business side, this should motivate you as well. Pharmaceutical sector, this is very interesting. I think those who are from the biosciences background or those who are from the pharmaceutical background, they would be very keen to know that 1 out of 5 of the world biggest selling prescription drugs were developed in the UK. And UK is the third biggest when it comes to research and development in the world after US and Japan. And you can see the facts that the pharmaceutical company employs over 70,000, 73,000 people in 2007 alone. The latest figures, at times it is not out because the count is up, but I can assure you this must be double at the moment. And so pharmaceutical sector is the 5th largest contributor to the UK economy, and it's a UK is also home for Glaxo, Astra type of drugs, and even Dr. Reddy is like giants like Dr. Reddy, the Indian company, are also present in UK as well. The pharmaceutical industry is over 150 years old. It started in 1842, so they have a long tradition in pharmacy. So if you are this sector also you can target whether you're looking for a part-time job, full-time job. It's not that you need to be a pharmacist or you need to be a you need to be you have studied biosciences. You can only work with them. But all sectors, if you're from a business background, IT background, or manufacturing background, you can also target pharmaceutical industry. In my presentation, what I'm trying to do is give you an insight about these sectors so that when you go as a student, you can target these sectors specifically. Most of the times, Indian students, what happens is they do not have a specific target in mind. So when you target specific industry, then it becomes very easy for you to get a job. So always go there, get the skills, and target 7, 4, or 5 sectors, and go and approach them. I'm sure you will end up with doing something over there. In the UK, there are around 450 biotech companies. So I have given you these are the list of companies. If someone is keen, they can approach SIUK, and I would be more than happy to share the list of companies where they can go and work in biotech and pharmaceuticals companies. And by the way, all these companies, Vamsi, can actually sponsor work visas. We will show them. Okay,
So,
information technology.
Mr. Bhanu,
Yeah.
shouldn't we run the poll one time to see how much of students guessing?
Yeah, sure.
We'll run the final poll right now, guys. So we want to hear your responses for this.
How many companies in UK do you think can sponsor work visas? At the end of the day, we need work visa, So let us see whether it's worth going to UK or not. Because if there are no companies who can sponsor, what's the point?
So Mr. Bhanu, the poll is turning out quite interesting. We have 36% of the crowd is voting for this thing for 10,000.
26%.
35%. And
35.
And 28% have said for 25,000 plus, 24% have said 3,000 companies, and 13% have said 2,000 companies.
And how many have said over 30,000?
25,000 plus
Yeah.
have said 28% students have said 25,000 plus.
I would, if possible, if I feel like giving them some scholarship from my university for guessing it right. So this is a good information that you've collected. You would be surprised to know that there are over 29,000 companies in the UK which can actually sponsor work visas. But before coming to that, I would like to show you who are the main graduate employers actually in the UK. So in the IT sector, for example, these are the top companies that you can focus on. In the telecommunication sector, you can focus on these companies. And in the financial sectors, manufacturing sector, public sector, retail sector, you can actually target all these companies. We'll share this information. I can share forward this presentation so that you can have a look at it and collect it from SIUK later on. The other sectors are also showing growth. So it includes the which you can see if you're from if you are from if you're talking about marketing, if you're talking about teaching profession, if you're talking about even professions like geology, if you're a physicist, or if you're a software professional, or an actor, or a creative art person, all sectors, in short, are showing great amount of growth in the UK. And this is precisely the Brexit effect, because most of the Europeans are moving out, and because of that, there is a huge demand of professionals. And when it comes to filling up these places, India is the right partner they can actually fix on. So how and where to search for right employers? The first place that you can do is you can approach the university that you're going to go and study. So the university will have a career office. Take their help, get your resume localized, get a cover letter from them how to do it, attend networking events. So a lot of events happens at the university. A lot of companies come down, attend these networking events and career events organized by the university, and always keep a close eye on the campus recruitment activities. Like when in Hertfordshire, we do a campus fair where a lot of companies come down. So you need to keep down and interacting with them. Third, second is external external placement agencies. So there are a lot of external placement agencies. While you're studying there, try to find out which all companies are there, and visit them, or contact them and do a keep a regular follow up with them. And last and not the least is help yourself. This is the best way. Now I can teach you how to do yourself right away. You have to do your own research while studying. Look out for companies who can sponsor work visas, which we have done a poll. I'll show you to you in a few minutes. Make a strategy to approach them, and attend career fairs. So these are the three basic principles where if you have a right approach, you can find them. Brexit is good for India because it has made pound cheaper. So it was 105 3-4 years back. Now the pound rate has gone down to 90. So most of you can afford British education in the best way. Boost skill immigration from India. So India is the right partner. Prime Minister Modi recently visited UK and British Prime Minister, and they had a discussion with British Prime Minister, and both of them have agreed that there should be more Indian professionals going to UK and work there. Stronger trades with India, opportunity for India to sit at a higher table. So India is not in a commanding position, so you have an edge. Plus competitive opportunities for Indian companies in the UK. Now you would be surprised to know that there are 800 Indian companies in the UK. Now, as an Indian student, in my opinion, you should also apply to 800 Indian companies. For example, I said Tata. Now, do you think only Britishers are working in Tatas? No, there are a lot of Indian people working there. Infosys is there, Wipro is there, Kotak Mahindra Bank is there. So there are around 800 companies, big companies, which you should target, not just British companies alone, because you will be their favorite, in that way. Work visa. This is going to be my last slide for the day. A work visa, if you look at, so what do you need for that? You need eligibility. You have a certificate or sponsorship from a company. That means a job letter, which can say that they're sponsoring you. Then you are also required that you've been paid an appropriate salary. To work in the UK. You need around 20,800 pounds. Now, if you are a British graduate, if you are not a British graduate, then you need over 35,000 pounds. prove that you have good communication, your personal saving in your account, which should say that you can travel in the UK. It's a very small amount. Show you can travel, so you have a passport, plus you have and your travel history in last 5 years. You are free from TB, so there should be this is a tuberculosis test that you need to do. Plus, last and not the least, that you have a good character, so you're not convicted or you've not committed any sort of crime. So once you have all these things, I think applying visa is easy. Now, Vamsi, I would like to show them one of the things. So if you go to Google, the best thing to find jobs, who can sponsor my work visa? So the work visa in the UK is called Tier 2 work visa. And if I'll write Tier 2 sponsor list, if you are on Google, whichever university you're going, always keep this list handy. This will be your Bible for jobs. So if you're looking for a job, don't apply to companies which are not on the list. Only target companies which are on the list. So all those 28% people who have guessed it, I'm going to show you. Go to the first link. Now this says registered or sponsors under the point-based system. Now in the UK, the work visa is called Tier 2. So if you look at, there are 28,989 companies which can sponsor work visas. That means any student who comes back to India and tell me that there are no jobs, he needs to show me 28,000 rejection letters. I'm sure you will grow old or you will lose all your hair. I'm already losing, but you will not be able to finish and apply to all these companies in a way. The best way to find out is, let's say you are going to go to find on the corner. Let's say you are going to Manchester. So on find, just write Manchester, and you will see how many companies in Manchester are. So in the end, if you'll see, there are around in Manchester 159 companies which can sponsor work visa. Now if you'll write, let's say Essex, which is again a place in London, in UK, and you can see very close to London. So it 592 companies. So any university you're going in, just mention the name of the city and you will be doing it. So let's say you're going to Scotland, you're going to Edinburgh. So write Edinburgh. So how many companies in Edinburgh can sponsor? So your target should be to approach these companies. Now, best is London. Now you can see how many companies are in and around London. So wherever you're going, just try to be in these companies, apply them. There are around 13,000 companies in London. Let's say you want to work in an Indian company like Tata. Sorry, TA. Do we have time, Vamsi?
More minutes. Few more minutes, Mr. Bhanu.
All right. So if you see Tata Capital, Tata, so you name a company, it will be over here. Now you want to work with Wipro. Just write Wipro. So any company that you're targeting, it will be on the list. I don't think so there is any country in the world who has put in such a compiled list of employers on their website. Now, on a funny note, this is a sign of British laziness, where they have put in the whole list of companies on the website. So before you go and travel, you should carry this list. So when you're doing a course, let's say you're going for a 1-year master's or 3-year program, half of the year, make your own research. Now imagine the kind of research that you will do on these companies for the first 6 months. In the later 6 months, start applying to these companies. Now most of the companies would come back. Let's say you're targeting 1,000 companies, you made a list, and in the end you have 6 months left. So if you say 6 months is 180 days, every day if you're sending an email to, let's say, around 5 companies, you will be covering almost around 1,000 companies in those 6 months. At the end of the day, 99% of them might come back and say no to you. By the way, no is the biggest word you will always hear in your professional life. But then if 1% of them come back to you and say, hey, we can call you for an interview, 1% of 1,000 is 10%. And I don't think so after studying for or a year in the UK or doing a master's or a bachelor's degree in the UK, you will be that bad that you can't impress 1 out of 100. So 1 out of 10. So that is the reason why I say when you come down to the UK, this is a good thing. One of the things that I can also show you quickly is, if I have got very few minutes left, is there's a website called prospect.ac.uk. If you go to this website, there's a thing called job profile. I'm gonna pick up one of the sectors, let's say finance. So in this, you can actually find out what kind of salaries do I expect from my course. Some of the student asked this question previously. So let's say you want to become an investment analyst. To become an investment analyst, what kind of skills are required? So you can read over here that these are the skills that are required. These skills are available in this qualification. Now I have the skills, I have the qualification. What kind of salaries do I expect in the UK? Now you will be surprised to read that typical starting salary for entry level graduates range from 28,000 to 40,000 pound in London, with possible bonuses of 10 to 100% in the first 3 years. So you pick up a program and you will find an answer to this. So this is the best website. So you can also look at, let's say you want to be an automotive engineer. So how much do an automotive engineer earn? Just go to the salary and see it is there. Now, again, if you go to the list and you want to work with the automotive sector, so write automotive and you will find, just by putting one word, 25 companies. Now there could be companies like Bentley, Rolls-Royce, BMW. Make your own list.
Mr.
Right.
Bhanu,
So I hope you're finding this interesting. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Mr. Bhanu, time is running short. We'll try to finish with few quick questions, which you can give them a one-liner or two-line answers, and quickly we'll try to finish the presentation as we're already going beyond the allocated time. So a quick question is that can a student pursue PhD after his graduation of masters in UK? Is it a yes or a no? Is what I'm saying.
Yes, yes. There are a lot of universities which can even sponsor PhD candidates. That's not a problem. If you are a PhD student, you are most welcomed in the UK as well.
Thank you, Mr. Bhanu. Next question they're asking is that do international students have to pay more taxes when they study?
No. All of them have to pay. It's the same tax for everyone. The taxes are on income, not on individuals.
Thank you, Mr. Bhanu. Next question is that are UK degrees recognized by the world markets? Like, is the UK degree recognized in India, US, or other countries?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank God Mahatma Gandhi never asked this question. British degrees are recognized throughout the world. There is no doubt that they're not recognized. Now, some of the qualifications could not be recognized, in one or two parts, like health professionals and all those stuff. But then majority British degrees are top. Every country has an educational standard according to United Nations. The topmost standard is K22 and the second one is K20. It's always been with US and UK universities. You will be very surprised to know, Vamsi, that India is on K3 level. So we are very below if you look at the qualification. At the end of the day, it's not the recognition, again coming back, it's the skill that you get and the experience that you get by studying abroad.
Thank you, Mr. Bhanu. Next question is that regarding part-time jobs, are you allowed to work off campus or you have to work only on campus?
You can work anywhere. That's not a problem. You can work 20 hours per week, outside, inside. There's a minimum wage rate, which is over 7.42 pounds an hour. So all students would get a minimum wage rate. If anybody paying you less, you can make a complaint about it. And university have a placement offices. Majority of them would have a placement offices which assist you to find a part-time job. But I would also suggest that it's not the very first day you come down and you keep your luggage and say, where are my part-time jobs? So adjust, give yourself a week, 10 days, if you find a job in just next day, do that. But give also your time some time to understand the local culture, approach the university career office, and you can and they will assist you find a part-time job. Finding part-time job is not a big problem. I myself have done it, many of them.
Thank you, Mr. Banu. Next question is that does UK government allow to set up businesses for international students who wants to set up their own businesses over there?
My university, now I'm not promoting it, but then I'm just saying it. My university runs a scheme every year called Flair. Now, most of the universities do that. In that competitions, you can present your business ideas to the university itself. Forget the UK government. UK government definitely invites entrepreneurs. So it's called Tier 1 visa. And so when you come down to the investment, and UK is and London is the most easiest, most convenient place to set up business. So if you come down to my university, let's say, and you present your business idea to me, I run a competition called Flair. In that competition, I will introduce you to the employers, to investors, and if they like your idea, you can be a startup in the UK, and most of the universities will provide you incubation centers where you can set up your own companies. Every university can sponsor at least 10 entrepreneurial visas easily. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Vanu. So thank you guys for participating in the webinar. Sorry, because of unfortunately the time running out, we will not be able to address all your questions. But what we will do is that if you have any questions in the future or after the webinar, please put your questions in the email of the email ID that we shared with you, which is So I've shared my email ID with all you guys. So if you have any questions, please put the questions. We will have the questions addressed during the due course in the coming days. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And thank you, Mr. Banu, for the wonderful presentation. Everyone
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful day. Thank you.
Can I say one?
Please, Mr. Banu, all yours.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you guys for listening to me patiently. I hope I've done some justice to you. I think the last link that I've shown you, keep it handy. And if you have any specific question, I would be visiting the SIUK upcoming fair, which I think Vamsi you're conducting in 4 or 5 cities. And
So
if you have
guys,
any specific,
sorry, please go ahead.
so if you have any specific questions and all that, do feel free to come and meet me, and I will try my level best to give you the best specific answers. At the end of the day, you go to any place, people will give you 3 answers. Those 3 answers are: it depends upon you, or they will give you an answer where you can cherry pick they will cherry pick an example and say that this guy has done better, you can be like him. Or third, that they will say that, oh, the university has an office which will help you out. But I hope what I've shown you is more practical side of the industry in the UK, and also how to find jobs yourself. So feel free to come down, and I wish you all the best for your career. Take care. God bless.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Vamsi. I'm logging off.
Yes, please.
All right.